Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time, and now we're heading out on a road trip. Gonna be a long one, 850 miles. Should be entertaining. One way, and then another 850 miles back. So I don't know how much of this I'm gonna film, but I'll film when we get there, so you can see the new toy we're picking up. Pretty excited. Alright, so here we are somewhere past Chicago. We're having all sorts of fun. It's been quite the entertaining drive. So, making terrible time. As you can imagine, Chicago was a 10-mile-per-hour crawl for about an hour, which was entertaining. So, it's going to be a while. I think we're arriving at our destination now. It moved from 1:27 in the morning to 2:09 right now currently. That's as long as we don't run into any more issues with the traffic here. So keep making our way on down, but still excited because it'll be fun to pick up a new toy, and then we'll film that once we get there and bring that thing back home. And here's our current shot of where we are. So, yay, good old GPS. Got 3 of them running in here right now for speeds and other things, so kind of entertaining, but be happy to get where we gotta go. Talk to you in a bit. Well, good morning, everyone. It was a heck of a drive yesterday. We did 13 hours and made it here to a little place that was kind of just a pick it from nowhere hotel. So I'm just getting out of there. I was grateful to find the place, be able to get a shower and feel more like a human being this morning after that long drive. So we're getting close. We're probably only about 30 minutes away from picking up the new toy, and so we'll see how that goes when we get there. Some more farmlands of Missouri. Just children of the corn out here. Pretty crazy. Some big farms out here. A lot of acreage. I guess somebody's got to feed us all, so this is it. Pretty beautiful to look at, but I think it's going to take me 2 days to get back home at this pace, trying to run on these roads until it gets me out to some sort of freeway. This is awfully slow going here. I'm trying to get back north, but yeah, as long as we get there safe, that's all I really care about. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Vector W8 Garage. It's been a while since I've put one of these out, so I figured I'd bring you guys up to speed. A couple of months ago, I ended up picking up another toy for the collection. I've been chasing this one for about 15 years. Trying to acquire one, and you know, color choices are kind of limited, so it's not exactly the ideal color for what I would like in the collection. You know, I prefer white cars. Just about everything I own is white, sans one silver car, but the rest of the fleet all come in one color only. So this one is throwing the collection off a bit. It's definitely a different color, and so we'll get into it here and show you what we ended up buying. I had to do a pretty long drive for this one. Things came together in a real hurry for it. It was I think it was a Friday morning that I ran to my bank when I knew this was going to be available. Sat down with the banker, and she immediately pulled up and tried to find comps for it, and she said, yeah, I think we can make this happen for you. The vehicle was located down in Clinton, Missouri, so it was about a 900, maybe a little more than that, mile drive each way for me. So as they were putting the paperwork together for this thing and getting the loan documentation in place, I was literally trying to pack and get my rear end on the road because the dealership was only open a half day on Saturday. So I think it was 11 o'clock, about 11 a.m. On Friday, that I piled everything into the truck, attached the trailer to the truck, and started heading down to Missouri as I was EDOC signing over my phone. And they did a wire transfer down to the dealership. Dealership called me as I was driving down there at about 4 p.m. and said, your funding is cleared, the vehicle's yours, it's here sitting waiting. Basically purchased this thing sight unseen. Was a little nervous about doing so because anytime you do something like that, you want to go check it out, run through everything, make sure everything's good. The dealership was real good. They were very much willing to work with me, and if there would have been any issues when I was there, they would have done whatever they could have to accommodate me. They did help me out with a couple of items on the vehicle that were not really bad, but just something that you hate to spend money on right away if you don't have to. So they threw them in and said, hey, we'll ship those to you, not a problem. So, and they did so. They were very good. So we'll start getting into it here. I've got a couple of items I've been replacing on it, just kind of bringing it up to speed because there were some things that I knew were wrong with it going into it. They weren't major, small items like tie rod ends, etc. And I've been a little delinquent in getting these on video, so you guys have missed quite a bit because I've just been doing some touch-ups on it, just trying to get it to the point where it looks great and is as nice as it was made out to be. Now the great thing about this is it's a 2011 model. It's got some very low mileage time on it. It was owned by a Kansas City Chiefs football star. It sat at his third home. Was barely used. Kind of the occasional toy that he took out and played with. So the nice thing about it was it didn't have a lot of wear and tear on it at all. The dealership, they had all the paperwork and all the documentation for it. Dealership that I bought it from was actually the selling dealership and the servicing dealership for it. So they brought it in. He would just call them up and tell them, I'd like this thing serviced annually, and please come pick it up, drop it back off when you're done with it. And he pretty much an unlimited budget for making sure that everything was kept in top condition. So I was pretty thrilled about the way that it was maintained and owned, and just needed a little dust cleanup as it had been at the house for many years without a whole lot of attention paid to it in the way of him taking it out and utilizing it. So it was a kind of a bit of a barn find, but not in said shape that where it was had been neglected and sitting there dust covered and terrible looking. It just was not driven much, and had all the fluids changed in it annually, which was kind of crazy because for the amount of use that it was getting, you could have justified not doing that at all, and he just made him do it. And what had happened is they had taken in a newer model on trade from a guy who was one of those guys who, got to have a new one every 3 years. So he traded in his 3-year-old toy, and this guy was the recipient of that 3-year-old toy by the dealership, actually knowing that the one he had was worth more than what they had taken the other one in on trade on, and were going to sell it to him for. So they made some money on the deal. I got a very good deal for what I paid for it in this current climate, the financial climate that we're in. So I felt pretty good about it. I've been looking still, even though I purchased this, a couple of months ago now, and keeping my eye out there for other used ones. And the price I paid is substantially lower than what they're going for now, and so I'm real happy with what I end up getting. And the other ones, have a lot more mileage / time on them than this one does. So without further ado, we'll go out here, and I'm going to do a little work on it today. I'm going to change out a couple of items on it, and I'll probably put you on time lapse while I do so. And hopefully you enjoy seeing the new toy. I know I've been pretty thrilled with it. It's been a lot of fun to have here. So something, like I say, I've been chasing for a long time. So now that I have it, I'm gonna enjoy it. All right. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a quick swap and comparison here on the headlights and some of the night lights for field work. Some of you may know, some of you may not. What I do have is several acres that I live on, well, about 10. So this has been a long time coming. It's a 2011 John Deere 4720, 66 horsepower diesel. It's the largest of their large frame utility tractors from a mid-sized tractor perspective. So this is the biggest one you could get. It's a Tier 1 engine in it, so it's got no emissions on it, which is huge. The current model, the 4066R, has a Tier 4 engine in it, so it's got all the emissions crap. It's all computer controlled. It's an absolute nightmare to deal with. People who have them do not like them. They hate them. So this is a unicorn. They're getting harder and harder to find. Finding them with the low hours on them is becoming mission impossible. So when we found this one, it was 544 hours, which is barely broken in. First service on everything, for other than engine oil change, comes in at 400 hours. So it's just getting broken in. Everything else that I looked at that were located there were 3 of them at the time available in all of the United States. So that'll give you an idea of how hard these are to find, especially finding one with low hours. The other 2 had, one had 3,300 hours. The guy thought he had gold. He wasn't willing to let it go for anything more than your firstborn child. Second guy was in Ohio, much closer than Clinton, Missouri, and he was in the same situation. He had about 1,200, almost 1,300 hours on his, and he was a dealership there, and he wasn't letting it go without you trading in your house, your kid, your cars, and everything else that you own in order to take it home with you. So to find one that was barely used, in beautiful condition, it was a difficult task. So Clinton, Missouri was the winner there, and luckily the dealership that had it had some, I don't know what kind of camera the guy used, but it was horrible. And the pictures that he had of it, really, it looked like it was in terrible condition, even though the hours on it said that, the opposite. It should have been in absolute beautiful condition. Well, lo and behold, I was very happy that at the time the photos that he had taken were taken with such a terrible camera, because nobody else called on it and everybody else was shying away from it. And so I was the only person who was interested in it. So we were able to get one heck of a deal on a tractor that should have gone for, well, $10,000 to $15,000 more than what it sold for. They are very, very pricey now. Back, a couple of years ago, when things were a little bit different, you could have bought this tractor for probably 5, 6, 7 grand less than what I paid for it today. But now, if I wanted to sell this, I could literally sell it for 15 grand more than I paid for it today. So I think we did all right, and it's, like I say, just about brand new for what it is. For 2011, with 544 hours on it, it got about 38 hours of use a year, which is nothing for something like this. Typical engine overhaul will happen at about 6,000 hours on this tractor, so it's got a tremendous amount of life left in it. I will die before this thing needs its first engine overhaul, so I should get a good long life expectancy out of it and a lot of use out of it. With the 10 acres I have here, I ran down and bought a finish mower for the back of it on the 3-point. So I've got a 6-foot finish mower on the back. Does a beautiful job here. So there will be many more videos to come of this, just because I'm enamored with it. It's not quite what you guys would be expecting, but from my perspective, it's a heck of a neat toy. So I'm going to do a couple things here. We're going to change out some light bulbs on it, because we've got some standard halogen lighting in it, and we're going to go to LEDs and try and improve it, just because the lighting's a little bit archaic. So that's next. So one of the first things we'll do is we'll take a look at what the lighting looks like on it now, and then we'll replace the bulbs and give you an idea left to right what the difference is. Hopefully the rain's going to hold off on me here, as I can feel it starting to come. So hang tight. We'll turn it on, flick on a couple of lights, and let you see what they look like. So you've got all the field lights on, and we're going to change all the bulbs out here in the front and also in the top, and we'll see how much of a difference these new LED lights are going to make to it. And let me do a little swap out here. Let me put it in time lapse while I do this, and then we'll see what the difference is. Alright, so a few minutes of bulb exchange. Not quite what I was expecting. At 8,000K, I didn't realize they were going to turn out blue. But hey, it is what it is. We'll give it a shot. If I don't like it, we'll go down to 6,000K, which should be more of a white light. But when I was kind of surprised when I turned them on, they didn't look so bright from a camera perspective looking at the tractor itself. But amazingly, the garage behind you was lit up quite brightly, which I was kind of shocked by. So I'll flip them on here. We'll take a look at what they look like now, and then later this evening I'll come out here once sun goes down, it gets dark. We'll throw the camera back on, and we'll see just how bright these things look at night, which like I say, may be kind of surprising to me here, hopefully. And well, one of our first upgrades to the new toy, other than tie rod ends. So there we are, 8,000 Kelvin LED bulbs to replace the halogens that were in it, and hopefully they're going to do a hell of a nice job here throughout the winter. As the sun keeps going down earlier and earlier, we're getting ready to do our spring forward, fall back routine with the time change, and so it's going to get dark out really early. So going to be kind of disappointing, but hopefully that'll keep things lit up for when we're doing any snow plowing over the winter here, which I'm anticipating it's going to get pretty deep pretty quick. So we're getting late here, or should I say very late here. Now we're in November, and usually by now we've seen a bunch of the white stuff on the ground. So been pretty kind to us so far this year, but I'm happy with it for now, and we'll get to play with it a little later, and I'll bring it out during the dark and see just how well they're lighting things up. Okay, so here we are. I gotta admit, I'm not impressed at all by 8K here. I'm almost still driving in the dark. So here you are with your lights off. Flashers, I can see all the way just about to the end of the driveway there with the flashers. There's just the regular headlights. There's with all field lights lit up. And you don't really see a whole lot. So for plowing snow, I'm going to say this is going to be a no-go. So we're going to have to spend some more money, either buy a 6,000 Kelvin, and hopefully that projects out further and better, or we're back to going to halogens. So yeah, not very impressive. Thought it would be better than that for the amount of money you spend on LED bulbs, and they're not that terribly expensive, but they're more expensive than most of the halogens are. So yeah, big disappointment. So no fun. As always, I'd like to thank everybody for watching the video. If you could, please hit the like, subscribe, and share buttons. It helps us out tremendously on the channel, and it's free to you. It doesn't cost you a thing. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one.